This is an introduction safety video on the miter saw. We are going to introduce you to the basic components and safe operation of this machine. We use this tool to cross-cut lumber and plywood to rough and exact lengths. To begin, let's go over some of the basic components before we start talking about safe operation on this tool. Let's begin with the guard. The guard is black in color and it covers the blade. When we perform the cutting motion on the miter saw, the guard will retract and expose the blade. When the tool goes back to the start position, the guard should return back and cover the blade. If for any reason the guard does not perform this operation, please notify the instructor. Now, let's talk about the fence. The fence is vertical and 90 degrees from the tabletop. The fence can be made out of different types of material on this tool: aluminum, wood, sometimes even plastic. When we cut, we rest all material down on the tabletop and back against the fence, so the material is supported where the blade comes down. I stated earlier that what we do is rough and exact cross cuts on small pieces of material, or we cut the ends to 90 degrees. This tool also has the capabilities to cut angles on ends. To do this, you angle the adjustment bar, taking the motor and the blade out of 90 degrees from the fence. But the majority of the time, we're going to cut 90 degrees on our ends. And when the saw is set up to cut 90 degrees correctly, the gauge will show 0. Now, the on-off power switch or trigger. The switch is located on the handle. Your right hand is going to turn the machine on and off, turning it on by squeezing the handle and turning it off by letting go. Now that we have some of the basic components defined, let's start to talk about the basic operation. The material that you're preparing to cut should be placed down on the tabletop and pushed against the fence. Oftentimes, we have a line or some mark that shows the location of our cut, and an X signifies the sign of the line that the blade should cut into. Let's now watch a video on how to safely cross-cut a small piece of material. The operator begins by aligning the blade with the line on the material. Making sure the blade is not touching the material, the operator is going to squeeze with his right hand, turning the motor on and slowly cutting through the material. When the blade comes to a complete stop, he'll lift up the motor and remove the offcut with something other than his hand. Let's watch that one more time. Left hand presses the board down on the tabletop and back against the fence. Right hand's on the handle, squeeze to turn on, come down through the material to complete the cut, turn the machine off by releasing pressure with your right hand, and then tap, tap, tap the offcut away with something other than your hand. Now let's talk about what's not okay to safely operate this tool. Whatever you plan to cut needs to be supported down on the tabletop and back against the fence. We will never use the miter saw to attempt a rip cut or a cut with the grain direction. We only use the miter saw to complete cross cuts or cuts across the grain direction. There are also minimum lengths that we cut on the miter saw. There is a warning symbol engraved on the table of this tool. If the piece of material that you're planning to cut is shorter than the manufacturer's minimum length, you should not use this tool. There is too little fence to support the material, and your hand will be far too close to the blade. This concludes the safety introduction video on the miter saw. Thanks for watching, and let's get back in the shop and back to building.